My secret CPA journey. Get ready. I'm going to unveil my own CPA journey. How I started, how I went through, what challenges did I face in the process, and how I succeeded in it. But at the very beginning, I want to make it very clear, there are two categories of students who are pursuing CPA. One who are coming from professional background, who are already chartered accountants or CA interns or company secretaries and ICWIs, whether they have qualified or they are pursuing. And there's another category who are graduate students in commerce. Remember, both of them have a different background of knowledge. So both will require a different strategy for their preparation. Why am I telling that? Because CPA has a lot of syllabus in common, which most students who are coming from CA inter background must have already studied. Therefore, they may require little lesser time to prepare, while my other friends who are coming from the commerce background may require a little longer time for preparation. But at the end, only one person will pass, and that is who has the grit in them, who has that motivation, and who have been trained really well by the right mentors from the industry. So if you are coming from CA or a non-CA background, that does not stop you from passing the exam. All that I want to tell you is the level of preparation or the timeline required for preparation can be different. Now, coming back to my story, how much time did I take? So, since I have been in teaching for a very long time now, most of the papers of CPA was something that I was already familiar with, except one paper called regulation. So far, never threw much challenge to me because I knew accounting. I come from a very long accounting background. Whatever syllabus of accounting or FAR was there, I had already studied some time in my life, or I had been teaching them for quite some time, except the governmental accounting portion. The governmental accounting portion is comparatively smaller now than what it was when I wrote my CPA exam. So you don't have to worry. Currently, the FAR syllabus has reduced by over 40%. So, will it be easy for you? Answer is yes, it will be comparatively easier for you than prior to 2023. Now, how much is a good time that you should be taking? I took close to 1 month to prepare for my exam, including self-study and, revision. But on an average, you should take 2 to 3 months of time for preparation. Your attending class and your revision and self-preparation. I think 3 months is quite a good time to be able to successfully crack the CPA exam. Most important point, it is not just important to know the concept. It is more important to practice the real exam situation, because in India, we are very confident about writing a paper pen format of examination. This examination is completely online. You will be given questions, you will be given situation, you will be given case studies, TBS what we call, in a digital format. And that can throw little challenge for you. The only way that you can surpass and excel here is by ensuring that you have practiced such situation multiple times before you go ahead with your exams. This is the best option, or this is the best advice that I can give for you, where you just cannot fail on the final day of examination. Coming to the next part, the odd part. Yes, the odd is very detailed. In the old syllabus also, in the new syllabus also, it can take a lot of your time, and preparation may require preparing a lot of notes. Because whatever content is available online, whatever content is available, in your books, it may not be sufficient, or it may not help you remember all of them. The length of the syllabus is wide and very comprehensive. And you have to remember a lot of small, tiny provisions or small, tiny situations, because questions can be tested from any part of your book. On an average, I would recommend you to be taking around 3 to 4 months time to prepare for audit. Remember, audit is easy, it is interesting, it is exciting, but because it is lengthy, the time required for you may be little higher. How much time did I take for preparing audit? I actually took much longer than average. In fact, Aud took the longest amount of time for my own preparation. I took over 2.5 months to prepare for auditing apart from your regular work time. But it's worth, because it is interesting, and in real world situation you will use this subject very often. How about regulation? Is regulation difficult? Answer is no, not that difficult even. There is one part of regulation paper which is more of law. If you have studied Contract Act, if you have studied Sale of Goods Act, if you have studied these small acts in India during your commerce or during your CA days, then this can be interesting for you. In case you have not studied, it's okay. It's not that difficult. So one part of the syllabus is law, which we call business laws. Very easy, very simple. You can comfortably handle it in just less than 1 month of preparation. Next one, about the regulation. Is it that complicated? Let me be very honest. I was surprised myself when I saw the regulation, which in simple words is the US tax law. Can tax be so simple? Can there be a tax law which does not require you to remember any sections or case laws or any provisions which, where you need to memorize them? I was surprised. No, you don't have to. If you have ever studied Indian income tax, then you would be like, oh, can tax be that simple also? Yes, it is that simple. The complexity that we have been exposed in Indian taxation, nothing of that sort is ever going to bother you in the US taxation. It is very logical, very simple, very streamlined, step by step, and very, very interesting. So, is regulation going to throw challenge? In my opinion, no, never, not at all. It's interesting, it is exciting, and it is very, very, very simple for anyone, even if you don't have previous tax knowledge. How much time will it take for you to prepare? In my opinion, 2 to 3 months is quite good to prepare for taxation. But another piece of advice, no matter how much you have memorized the provision or how much you remember the provision, practicing is the key. You must ensure that you have practiced exam multiple times. Remember, if you have done this one important point, there is no way that you will be disappointed in your examination. Practice MCQs and practice TBS very, very much before you go for the final exam. Nothing will stop you at all. How about BC? When I was writing the exam, there was one paper called BC, but this paper has been discontinued. Is it a good news? Answer is yes, it is a good news. For some of you, maybe a bad news, but let me tell you, it is indeed a good news. Why? Because BC was one compulsory paper. Instead of that, you have 3 optional papers to choose from. You have BAR, you have TCP, and you have ISC. You like any stream, you can choose to pursue any of these 3. BC was a comparatively fairly easy paper if you are coming from CA background or from graduation, BCom background or BBA background. BC was an easy paper. A lot of people say, okay, that was an easy paper, but how about BAR? How about TCP? How about ISC? Are they not that easy, or are they really difficult? My say is they are as easy as BC was. In fact, they're little more easier, because now you have an option to choose your favorite paper. If you love costing, if you love finance, BAR is a paper that you must go for. If you love taxation, and provided you have passed the regulation paper. Remember this mistake you should not do. You should choose TCP only if you have passed the reg paper. Do not try to go for TCP unless you have completed reg, because reg is going to be your basic pillar and TCP is going to be advanced, where the basic knowledge that you have acquired in reg is going to help you a lot in successfully completing and clearing your TCP exam. ISC is little different, where there are a lot of knowledge about computers, about technology, information technology. So if you are somebody who loves information technology, or if you are coming from a BCA or an MCA kind of a background, then you can choose for ISC. But otherwise, for a commerce student or a CA, CMA, CS background student, I would recommend you to go for BAR or TCP in case you love taxation. But Having said that, whether you love taxation, you love bar, that is not the factor that you should consider alone in your decision making. The point that you should consider is which is the paper that you are more confident in passing the exam. Because after passing the exam, you have all the time in the world and all the opportunities to go deeper into any of these papers and gain the requisite knowledge that you need. How much time does it take and how much time did I take to pass my BC paper? I took fairly much lesser time, in fact less than a month, to write my BC exam, but you ideally should take close to 2 to 3 months time to complete your bar or TCP paper. ISC, in case you are coming from technical, you can take around 3 months to even sometimes 4 months may be required. But otherwise, 2 to 3 months looks fairly good time to complete these optional papers. So finally, I was able to complete my CPA in much less than a year. But on an average, if you are taking any time between 12 to 15 months, I think you are doing amazingly well. Now that the CPA exam is little extended, I would still want you, or at least expect you, to target 12 to 15 months time to complete all the 4 papers. But if you take a little longer, do not panic. It's perfectly fine. You have all the time to manage it well and pass all the 4 papers of your CPA exam. At any point in time, if you want any guidance, you can reach out to me. I'll be more than glad to answer all your questions. You can put your questions in the comment below and I'll be more than glad to answer them all for you.